If you would, please join me in the flag salute. If you would all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, I know you just got all seated, but we are going to recess for an executive session for about 15 minutes. This is for potential litigation, so I'll have to ask you to leave just for 15 minutes. And okay.
Hey, how you doing, Brad?
Good morning, good evening. Okay, next is public comment. If you would, please keep it to 3 minutes. And who first? 3 minutes, okay. Mr., if you would, go ahead and go to the podium.
Good evening, Commissioners. Brad Carey here. And I've been absent for about a year and a half from coming to board meetings. And the reason I've been not coming to meetings is I don't feel welcome here. I feel that when I point out deficiencies in how this board operates, that I'm held to, basically I'm the bad person because I'm exposing different things that the board is doing wrong. I don't like that. I feel my reputation also is being defamed. I don't like that. So we had an agreement that we had the commission agree to that's signed 2 years ago. And we specifically put provisions in that agreement that says, look, if you guys defame my name, it'll cost, every time it happens, a minimum of $10,000 plus any consequential damages. We put that in there specifically because we had a problem with that. We don't make our money suing the Port of Allyn, okay? We run a successful travel business for probably 40 years. We run a successful real estate business for 30 years. We get involved in public service with agencies we feel that are not being transparent. We felt the Port of Allyn wasn't being transparent. We turned out we were right. That's why you guys signed the agreement, okay? Now, we want that to stop, okay? Now, Travis, in fairness to him, I feel he picked up the phone, he called me, we had a good meeting, and I said, hey, I don't really want any money, right, Travis? We just want the problem to stop, to go away. We want to feel welcome when we come here. It's our job to manage you guys. You should welcome our input. Even if you don't like it, you need to welcome it. And that's what's missing. Transparency is missing. You know, I can go on for 2 or 3 hours. I told Travis one of the things I like to do, if we reduce the fine down to $5,000 as an example, me talk me down, right? I said, let's go ahead and have 2 hours. I'd like 2 hours with you to talk about your budget. I'd like 2 hours to talk about the settlement agreement. And I'd like 2 hours to talk about being in the water business, all these things. We were a commissioner at one time. Okay, we spent 27 years right now engaged in holding public agencies transparent or accountable for being transparent. So we have the experience, we've succeeded in doing it, and you know, but I've watched the videos for the last year and a half, and I don't see change occurring here. The third commissioner, I don't know who you are, and so as far as I'm concerned, everything's neutral, but the two of you, I'm not happy with what I'm seeing, and after you sign that agreement that said you would change, I'm not happy with the change, okay, and you need to know that, okay, and that's why I haven't been coming to meetings. I don't like spending my time just beating my head against the wall, okay? So I'd like 2 hours, but not tonight. And if I have to get it done in 3 minutes every time, it's going to take forever.
Thank you. You're always welcome for public comment.
Well, I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. Thanks,
You bet.
John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Yep.
Jeff Carey, welfare. 2 things. One is, I know I sound like a broken record, but I know we have a new commissioner, and I'll hand it out again, is the RCW that supports or doesn't support parks, and what, where reports come in and where they don't. And I look at the questions, it's like, there's like 7 different categories that the ports can do, that parks can come into the fray. But for example, so how's Sweetwater Park necessary to fertilize boat landings, as an example? It's not. at least in as I can tell. What's necessary to fully utilize the local harbors? It's not even adjacent to, to Good Canal. More fully utilize wharfs and piers. We have here and we have North Shore, but it doesn't really, I don't see how it supports that. To fully utilize the waterways. I struggle to see how that's accomplished. To fully utilize other port facilities. There's nothing adjacent other than the park. And don't get me wrong, I want to see that park stay in this community. I want the community to be part of it. But based upon our experience with the kayak park, and this is a grander size project, I'm concerned that we're going to run into some of those same financial opportunities that running parks run into. So, and finally, it's like, it's how do we fully utilize any of the port's current existing facilities, on the North Shore, Allyn, Victor, those areas. I don't see how it supports that. So I understand there's the different parts of the grants. I understand there's have to be a process. I don't ask that it immediately happen overnight, but I do believe that you need to address it, look at the financials, look at the the grants, the obligations that the port has, and work through that process. And eventually, if it can, step away, get it over to the county or something. I don't want to push it towards the state because I think that gets too isolated from the community. I think it needs to stay more in the community. Finally, on a different subject, related to the financials of the port.
23 seconds.
3 seconds.
23.
You, port, the public, need to be able to, when you have a meeting, know where we are. And at least to date, I've been kind of chiming in on this for the financial side. We just don't know where we are without a trial balance or something of that nature.
Right.
So I know I've said that once before, but we've got to go in that direction. And let me.
Pete.
So yeah,
Great, thank you.
all members have.
Is that Gina up there? Is that Gina? Gina?
Yes.
You've had your
Gina.
hand up, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks,
Okay,
Jeff.
good evening, Commissioners, Travis and Cass.
My name is Gina Finley. I'm from Allyn, and my husband and I own the No Sleep Till Brooklyn boat that's bobbing around out there this evening. I just wanted to say kudos to Travis as an executive director and someone who served as an interim executive director. I know that stepping into this type of role is a huge undertaking, and I just wanted to point out that he's always communicative and very helpful. We moved our boat to Allyn for the summer over the weekend, and it's our 4th summer here. One of the reasons that we actually purchased our home in Allyn was because of the dock. I have to say I'm very sad at the state of the dock. When we docked and walked down the walkway there, it just really made me sad. And I know there's a lot of issues, but I really hope that the efforts can be made to restore the dock. We just are not sure we can go a whole nother summer without no power, without the ability to pump out. And I really believe that the port is missing a huge opportunity for commerce. 4 years ago, when we first came to Allyn, we put our boat up for an Airbnb and had so many different requests that obviously was shut down immediately. But besides that, I think there's so many opportunities for people to come into our community, eat at different restaurants and shop. I really hope that, just wanted to say that I hope you guys put a lot of effort into getting that dock to where it should be, because it really does not look very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Ken?
Good evening, Commissioners. Ken Van Buskirk. I live in Belfair. I've lived in Belfair a long time. My mother-in-law was a former Port of Allyn commissioner, and at her suggestion, I've been involved in the community for over 20 years. I was a member of the Belfair Sub-Area Planning Committee, along with Bonnie Knight of the Port of Allyn and 20 other citizens. was also a Theller Board member, a North Mason School Board member, a Mason County Planning Commission member, or just a few of the others that I've been involved with. And I've been gathering information in public records for quite a while. I'm disappointed that none of you called me to discuss Sweetwater after I asked you to. Some of the materials that I've discovered, like, you don't need to look at these right now, but those are for you folks. Some of the materials that I discovered have the appearance of a conflict of interest, purposeful misrepresentation, and impropriety. What I've given you are just a few examples, and they're pretty much self-explanatory when you read them. Last August at your Kitsap County retreat, I'd like to read from your approved minutes. Sweetwater Park and the Salmon Center was then discussed. The executive director stated that the cost of doing this project had tripled in the time the port has been working with the Salmon Center, pursuing the funding of the park. And he also felt that if the project were dropped, it wouldn't be the worst thing. He suggested the possibility of the Salmon Center working with the county or one of the tribes instead of the port, but he didn't think the port should be the lead. That was last August. And I'd like to suggest that you table any further discussion and any action you might take tonight until you investigate, until you look at my other records that I would love to talk to you about. And I think you should talk to your attorney regarding your authorization of the salmon folks to seek grants, and reconsider your partnership and terminate your supposed memorandum of understanding with them, or memorandum of agreement with them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you again. You got Phil with his hand up? No?
No?
Oh,
Nope, I don't think so, that's the cursor. Any-
there was a hand up there.
His hand is up.
Is that his hand?
Phil has got a hand up. yeah.
Okay. Phil? No, it's the cursor, that's what I thought. Okay,
Okay.
you guys have a part in,
Okay.
on the, anybody else? Okay. Okay. Okay, I guess we can move on then.
He did unmute himself.
Chairwoman, could I just make one quick comment?
Well, I think probably not.
I've been gone for a year and a half.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
if I could jump here, this is Bill, I didn't know my difference heavily.
Okay. Thanks, Phil. Did you have any comment?
No, I would just say if we get on.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's moving right along then. We are at the approval of the agenda. Has everybody else had a chance to take a look and see anything, any changes or?
Did you notice the suggested addition
The what?
Oh,
on the flow notes?
okay, sorry about that.
It came in Friday, so it didn't make the agenda. The very top.
Oh, yeah, it's right there. Yeah, it makes sense.
What do you want to add to it?
Oh, marine
It's on-
floats.
Yeah, marine floats,
Sorry.
right on the top.
Yeah,
That
okay,
was-
we do need to add that. That would be under new items or old, wait a minute.
You go under old business.
Okay. So we will add that.
Where do you want to add that?
Under
It'll-
old business.
It'll be item G in old business.
Okay.
And that is marine floats. And who's the other? Who's the other contractor? Is that with just marine floats?
It's just a marine
Okay.
floats bid, that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, and on that note, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with the additional item on old business. We'll add it to G regarding the marine floats bid proposal.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All righty. Now, to the consent agenda items, the regular meeting minutes, May 6th. The briefing, the workshop minutes, May 23rd. And the ratification of weekly made fund transfers from Kitsap Bank to Mason County Treasury.
Okay. Well, we could go ahead and just approve the whole consent agenda items,
Yes,
the whole. So I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
I'll second.
okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, so moved. Okay. Financial position report. Aaron, would that be,
No, you'll start off at the beginning page, A, B, and C.
it's so well organized, it's just me here, right? Payment of the general funds, that's,
Yeah, payment of the general fund vouchers, payment of the payroll vouchers, and water fund vouchers.
We
Yeah,
could,
it was all this stuff right here.
yeah, let's go ahead, just put general fund and then you
yeah.
can list it.
Well, for starters, for future, these are not actual financial position reports, but they are
No.
our financial, things that we need to take action on for our financials right now, okay?
Yes.
We can talk about that later. But I'd like to make a motion to approve the payment of general fund for $6,497.93. The pay vouchers total of $16,460.95. The payment of water fund vouchers totaling $10,748.71. And I'd like to, we'll just leave it at that and make a motion to approve those three things.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Now it's Aaron's turn.
So,
You'll have to come up to a microphone so everybody can hear you. I'm sorry.
can I sit here maybe?
Yeah.
So that way.
Sure. That's not a problem.
So I continue to work and try to tweak and come up with some sort of format that works for everybody. So I'm always looking for suggestions. This has Jeff's budget that he built our year-to-date through May. We don't have, unfortunately, property taxes yet. The deposit, I think probably tomorrow or Wednesday we'll get those numbers. But I did plug in just what we had last year. But we've got all the launch fee revenues, water revenues, and everything else is here.
Okay.
Travis and I were just talking, do you want the percentage of 2023 actual totals to see where we compare?
Like, you're talking about what you got here already?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's helpful.
Do you like that column? Okay. So this basically, it shows how much of the budget you have remaining. And then on the back page, it fits on 2 pages, are what your fund balances are.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm very open to suggestions. They're useless if they're not helping, so.
Right, no, I get it. So my question here is, so am I understanding this correctly, that with the property taxes that we've received, well, no, what's remaining for taxes coming in is 43%
Correct.
change?
Yep.
Okay.
So we've collected
And
about
so the
57.
positional reports that I'm looking for, that I need to kind of look at to make better and more informed decisions, is coming out of May, where were we supposed to be with the budget we did early in this year? Regards to monies we've collected, and I mean, percentage is great, but with what's left there, how does that fit into the next month, the following month, through the rest of the year? Are we where we're supposed to be right now?
So remaining
Like that's,
dollar
well, it's a trial. You know, where you can plug in, and we should know that based on our current position, with the current monies we received and the bills we have for the rest of 2024, that we're riding above that, and we're in the green.
Okay. So do you want to see all, I did build something that was every month at the beginning of the year, and I don't know that it might have been too early when we were all kind of trying
But that was okay. That was
to
good.
get through everything.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what
It's a
you
position
mean?
report's gonna tell, coming out of May, are we where we should be with half the year?
I don't know if there was a lot to compare.
In each column, the amount of money that we've spent, is there going to be enough projected through the rest of the year to fit into the budget?
Is there a way to get,
That's huge.
yeah, I guess, what I'm thinking is there a way to get a list of what, in the past, we've spent every single month in those categories, and then we can use that possibly to reflect, to see where we are.
Yeah, we have that, so that's a plug and play, right? So, and we know what we have left for the rest of the year. We know what our monthly regular costs are, and whatever things we can expect to come in through the rest of the year based on our history of the Port of Allyn.
So you would like to see month?
I would.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
And
that's
then
fine.
that would show us that, oh, we're above 10% or 20%. Maybe next month we get another 10, well, isn't it September or August and September is when we get another half of that tax dollar from the county?
October 31st.
October, okay. Yeah,
Because that would, I guess, my understanding, that would show us like, we may have spent like 90% of our budget, but in the past 20 years, the last 4 months or whatever it is, there's only, we only spend 2-3%, you know?
well,
You know, or versus income, how much we normally get at which time. So it gives us,
so like we use this term loosely, financial position reports. These are not financial position reports. These are
Those are
general.
really consent agenda
Right, so we
items.
would just like, but I am looking for position reports on our monthly, where we're at. And,
Okay.
you know, regarding where we are at now and where we're gonna be through the rest of the year.
Okay.
And where we expect we should be each and every month. for
Okay.
this year.
Okay, let me put something together
Does that make
kind
sense?
Kind of.
Really?
So you want to see dollar amounts for each month based on where we were. So like if we spent $500 last year on fuel, guess that we'll spend $500
We
the rest
know
of
how
the
much
year?
money the rest of the year is gonna cost us, correct? Do we not?
We have an estimate as from our budget.
We have a budget.
Our budget is our
We have a
estimate.
projected budget, right?
Correct.
And then we know how much more tax dollars are left. And we know that the rest of the tax dollars, in dollars, not just percentages, is enough to get us through each and every month. And then what's that gonna look like coming out of 2024, coming in 2025? Are we gonna have 20% reserves, 10% reserves, no reserves?
So you want dollar amount?
I do, yeah.
So you want dollar amount, not
Okay.
percentage?
Not just percentages. Percentages are helpful to say, okay, we're 43%.
Dollar amount is really what you're looking
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, we're 7
Okay,
months in.
let me add another column. That's not hard at all.
Okay,
Do you
cool.
care about 2023 at all? Can we take that column out?
I like to see it.
Okay.
It kind of gives us an idea how much better we're doing or if we're improving.
Okay, but we can take the percentage of 23 out
Yeah,
And
the
add-
percentage of 23 you can take out.
and add remaining dollar amounts. Okay,
Is that cool?
I think so. Can I send you something and let
Yeah.
me know back and forth what you're
Yeah,
seeing?
that'd be great.
Okay.
Just text me, let me know you just sent something, then I'll get all over it and then
Okay.
get back to you immediately on that.
Sounds good.
Other commissioners as well.
Overall, though, I think we're doing good. I mean, when we consider where we were 2-3 months ago.
Yeah. No, I
Travis
agree
is
with
doing
you.
a great job at following up on things.
I agree. I just want to be more confident about
I
it.
see it, yeah.
Yeah.
Great, thank you. Anything else?
No, that doesn't need any sort of approval.
Okay.
Commissioners' reports.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner reports, yep. Who'd like to go first?
Sure. So on the 6th of May, attended the regular monthly meeting. And then on the 21st of May, I did the Mason Transit Authority Board meet, regular meet we do every month. And then we did our workshop in Port of Allyn here and, on the 23rd of May. And we need to do more of that.
Yeah, that'll help. We'll try to make a time to do that.
Yeah.
Mike, would you like to go?
Attended the meeting on the 6th. I was here for the workshop, and I was also here for the Memorial Day event we had out here. It was good. A lot of people showed up.
Yeah, it was great.
Great. And then that's about it.
Okay. Well, I did the May 6th regular meeting. I did Economic Development Council, May 9th, May 15th through the 17th, the Washington Public Ports Association Conference at Skamania, which really helped. We got a lot of good information. Travis was there. Did the port work session, and then also attended the Memorial Day celebration. So there we go. Next is security report.
It's big. Nothing to report for the month of May, security-wise.
Sea lions, yeah.
Go straight over to the executive director's report. Going to go with a different route, going forward with the executive director's report. It's been posted online for everyone to read. I don't need to love the sound of my own voice, so do we have any questions, Commission, on my executive director report?
I don't. I thought it was well put together, and I appreciate all that. Some of the items that we need to talk about, old business, I think that will help. Did you guys have any questions for him?
No. Many of the opportunities for questions will come in the new and old business sections of the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I would move that we move over to the first item of the old business.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I do have a question about the Oyster House. Is that in our,
No, you might as well ask it now before we,
do you, I need the phone number for, it was the contractor. We don't have anything about the contractor that did the windows, do you? Phone
no,
number?
but I can find it.
Okay,
I can find it. Let me get it on my note.
okay. Okay. Set a time for the workshop.
Okay.
I'd like to do that first. You
Yeah,
wanna
let's
wait?
do that.
Okay.
Just keep right in the order we're doing it.
In the flow notes, it's suggested third weekend in June would be best. Thinking about the fact that the Wednesday of that week is Juneteenth, national holiday, wouldn't want to schedule it then.
Thursday?
At the moment, I have nothing planned on that day.
I'll be out of town.
17th through the 21st?
Yeah.
Okay. We can move that over to the next week then.
I'm gonna be gone.
Oh, boy.
I might be able to do the 24th, but that's probably as close as I can get it.
Well, then we could have it earlier in the month.
Of course, the 1st of July is falling right on a Monday, so I was trying to see if we had any room in the,
Yeah.
no, we don't.
Week of the 10th through the 14th. It'd be next week
Of,
of June, because it looks like 17th through the 21st is a no-go, and 24th through 28th is a no-go.
Wednesday, 12th?
I can't do the 12th.
Oh, yes. 13th?
That I can do.
How about you, Commissioner? 13th? That's a Thursday.
It's a bad week, but I'm gonna make it work, because we're getting down to having to make some.
I have
work.
a,
So good.
I have a meeting at 11 o'clock on the 13th.
Can we do it in the afternoon?
We can.
Can you do the afternoon?
Man, I got family coming in, so I'm trying to figure out, let's just figure on the Thursday at what time? What'd you say, 1 o'clock?
1
One?
o'clock.
Let's just do
1
it
o'clock
Thursday at
can be
1.
done.
Yeah, Thursday at 1. Okay.
you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, everybody, for your patience.
Yeah. Okay. The water, let's take a look at that one. Yeah, I don't know if we really need to do much with the
But,
Sweetwater. It was just really the
no,
thing that
I-
Larry had signed.
that's where we're gonna talk about our priorities here a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
I mean,
think we should put it
seriously.
off to a later date.
I have nothing to discuss regarding that.
Okay. Next would be the Northwest Water Billing, Systems Water Billing.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds like you want me to talk about that.
well,
I have lots to talk about. Northwest Water has been billing us for tests that aren't required
yeah,
for the last 2 years. Found several errors in billing that I have pointed out, and they are supposed to be getting back to me. It was pointed out Tuesday this week. So little perturbed that they haven't gotten back to me. There's a second page here that says Northwest Water. It details all the tests that have been done in 2023 and 24. Gross alpha and radium should have only been done once in 2 years. Actually, it's gross alpha and radium should only be done once every 6 years, but they've tested us 3 times in the last 2 years. Herbicides have been tested 4 times in the last 2 years. Herbicides should only be done once every 9 years.
What's the results of these tests?
$400 charges each time.
No, but what are the results? Are they,
We're in the clear.
okay,
None of them had to be taken because we failed.
okay.
The pesticides ones, 4 pesticides have been done. 0 samples are required currently. Yet they've tested us 4 times. So, with my accounting here and whatever they come up with, we will be coming up with some sort of gross refund. In fact, you notice I did not have them on the voucher list because I refused to pay them until they get this squared out.
yeah, good.
Okay.
They can pay us.
That,
So when they, compliance period, then, okay,
so
when were the dates, am I missing something here? When were the dates that they actually did this? What I'm curious about is why they, I mean, obviously, they're doing more than they need to.
Sure.
But also, cannot they come out and get samples, that kill 2 birds with 1 stone? More or less, like when they come out and get samples? Where they can
well, so
test?
what'll happen is the next, you'll have a last sample date and then a next sample date. So the last sample date will be when the counting starts to when you need to have the next sample done by, within that period of time. And you can see on this WQMS, which is our water quality monitoring schedule, that the next sample dates aren't even indicated on here because these tests were taken so many times that they don't even put it out that far. In fact, one of them, like it says, it isn't even required.
All right.
We're not in an area that pesticides are considered an issue. There's no farming community.
All right. All right, well, I'm glad you're all over that.
We'll get some more information about that in the next, could have it as early as tomorrow, but
Okay.
it's just not here yet. But that's also why I would like to suggest alternatives for a satellite management
Yeah.
company. This isn't the first time that they have soaked up a lot of office time, backtracking, going through their stuff. Just, it's costing us
Yeah.
time and energy.
And without wasting everybody else's time, we've had that discussion in our workshop. Right?
And I did make contact with another company that is actually a local Mason County company where I like to keep all of our work if possible. We are economic development. Let's fund the people who are close to us.
Yeah.
And that will be up for discussion later in the new items.
Okay.
Okay,
So I can delay any more talk about that until we get to that new item.
All right.
okay.
That's great.
The street lighting with PUD,
Yes. You know a little bit about that.
I do, but it's a tough one.
Yep, that one's on the commission at this point. They'll have to discuss and make a decision. Either way, I either write a letter or we continue to pay it.
Well,
If we write a letter, that means the lights go out.
yeah, and I haven't really been able to get time to go champion anybody to help pay for stuff, you know, the community, that would benefit from that. ACA, businesses, local businesses.
There's an idea of to continue to pay it, but to spend some time, the commission spend some time lobbying the county
Yeah,
and
it's a safety and security issue.
trying to find out another alternative way so that we're not paying the $400 a month bill.
Yeah. Well, I suggest, it's why the top of our list is our budget. We keep paying it until we kind of come up with a solution. We have a huge liability issue there from a safety and security standpoint. Just to turn the lights out. No, I mean, that would be
Yeah.
bad.
Do you need a
Irresponsible.
motion on that?
Yes, you will need a motion on that one,
Your thoughts, Mike?
because it is sunsetting before the next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, we need, I think
It's on
we
the
need,
10th.
we need to engage the public and
Yes,
see
we
if we
do.
can get some alternatives. But until then, I think that shutting it off would be a bad idea.
Now, what will happen is that when we don't shut them off, it'll be a 1 calendar year, it's not a month to month. We cannot opt to turn it back off until June,
Why is
June
25.
20th, 2025,
why is that?
because that's the way the contract reads.
So each
It's an
year-
interlocal agreement with the PUD.
Can't we
yeah.
change the contract?
Yes, you could get the PUD to change the contract, it'd be a lot of work. It is possible.
Which would probably be more money.
But they won't change the contract per se for us paying the bill. It's either the lights are on or the lights are off,
Yeah.
and somebody's paying it.
Right.
yeah, well, I think we should go ahead, my opinion, go
Yeah.
ahead and continue on for
Okay.
another contract and start
We might be able to
soliciting the
get a
other.
grant or something, maybe, or find some money from the
Yeah,
county that can
that's true.
reimburse us for paying it.
And I would say the contract is written in a manner that you don't need to make a motion at this point. It just
Okay.
continues to go for another calendar year.
Okay,
Yes.
so we're all in agreement then?
Fortunately, yeah, we just need to
Okay.
pursue, Mike brought up something we've actually brought up before too, and that is to look for, from the county, to see what kind of help we can get there. One of the commissioners, county commissioners mentioned there might be an option there too. We haven't pursued that though, right?
No, there hasn't been time in the office to
Okay, I know.
pursue that, but there has been talk that there could be 09 funds available to work into that avenue. So
Talk to Randy, since he's our,
I would, yeah.
Okay,
All right,
all right,
thank you.
okay. Water system projects?
That's a big one. You can see there's quite a bit in the highlighted section of your flow notes. So the last contractual agreement for contractors doing anything on the water system was 2007, Marty Reynolds. There is never been one since then that I can find where we've had any kind of contractual agreement with anyone putting in infrastructure improvements into the water system. That's possibly part of the reason why we are where we are with various unpaid debts and also not having as-bills on some of our parts of the of the water system. It also goes to the fact that we've got that major project coming in with the memory care facility and no contract technically for the contractor to do the work on the water system. So I've spent the last couple of days, I found a template that I liked out of the Silverdale water system. And I've been reworking that to make something presentable for you to take a look at, to become something that we can use going forward that ties into our water policy, but also makes an agreement set in place so that we both the contractor and ourselves are covered, and we get what's necessary for the water system's improvements.
Is that something you could possibly have for us when we have our,
Yeah, I most likely I'll have it available for that meeting,
Okay.
but we wouldn't be able to take any action.
No, but we can look at it and
Correct.
stew it over.
If we needed to get that done any earlier, we could always have a quick meeting to approve it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of that was also detailed in the executive director's report.
Yes.
Just kind of making you aware that it hasn't been done. And if
Going
it
forward.
literally says in the water policy that you should, but it also says in there that that the ED can actually, waive or modify the application of policies and procedures. But then it later goes into the same paragraph that in cases where such waivers or modifications involve significant cost, needed to be brought before the board. And what is significant cost? To us, a couple $1,000s is a
Yeah,
significant
no.
cost.
$1 counts.
We already know.
I mean, even $20 is typically a significant cost.
We know.
We're not a big port.
Yeah, we already
So,
know we need to clean
these,
that up.
these things need to have,
Yeah.
before work gets done like that,
Yes.
it needs to be literally put on paper before you, signed by the contractor, and then you can either sign it yourselves or give me approval to sign.
Well, this leads to more, that way everybody can see exactly what's going on. It's not, people are concerned about, transparency. That's very, contracts there for everybody to go, so. Good idea.
Okay, suggest to move on to
Yeah.
discussion with Joe and Jessica.
Joe and Jessica.
Yeah.
All right, Commissioners, Executive Director Merrill, thank you for putting this on the agenda tonight. Just wanted to discuss the port policy and ask the port for consideration on the fees as they currently exist. So a little background with the Port of Allyn and our work here in the town of Allyn development. What we're trying to do is build a quality community, preserve values, add value to the community, and we have I think several of our buyers are actually on the call tonight, and we've been delayed by the county, by Public Works, by Mason County Planning and Building, and had big delays from what we originally intended to do there infrastructure-wise, and we've been delayed in paving roads, doing line extensions of sewer, water, and power. And so, unfortunately, some of the homeowners have had, they've had to wait longer than they've anticipated, or we anticipated, for paved roads and improvements to the development that were planned that were not able to be taken care of. And, of course, then we've also had a difficult season in the real estate industry with high interest rates and high cost of building and inflation and all these things impacting us all at one time. So it's been a perfect storm. We've persevered through it. We've worked very hard to preserve values in the community. We've avoided fire selling houses to just get out of a bad situation. We've rented them out. We've preserved values in the community. The values in the neighborhood have increased over the last couple of years. And so this has taken, it's taken a lot of work. It's been a challenging time for our company, and it's been one of those things we didn't want to be in this position, but now we're at a point where we have worked through a lot of the challenges. We're wanting to get back on offense. We want to make up for lost time and bring another builder into the plat. And so this other company has an offer on 10 lots in the development to purchase from us. And after the conversation with the port, when they found out what the fees were for the lots, they were like, we're going to table our offer. We can't proceed with these costs. And so with cost, over for $9,200 for water connection fees, it was too much of a cost burden for them to bear. And we were not aware we were aware of the port's fee of approximately $6,200 for a water connection fee, which is what we've paid over the last 4 years. And that's all we were aware of. We were not aware the policy included a $1,500 extension fee per lot, as well as a $1,500 self-set meter fee, adding over $3,000 to the cost of each lot. And so while it's $3,000 per lot, when you spread that over 10 lots, that's $30,000. And if this builder is going to come in and make $40,000 a house, he just almost lost one of his houses. And so this is very concerning for them. So as it stands now, the only way we can keep the deal together is to eat the $30,000 in fees on our end, which we were not expecting to do. So this is an impact for our business. And so what we're asking the port is for consideration of a policy change on the line extension fees and the self-set meter fees, because we feel one of the jobs of the port district is to foster economic growth in the community, and that it should be something that's important to the port to see economic development in their port district, and we're potentially have the ability to be one of the biggest drivers of economic activity in the town of Allyn. And so going forward, as we move into the next phase and get another builder involved and seek to move forward with future development of lots, consideration of changing policy to remove these fees, because as a developer, we're already paying the cost of adding, extending water line, extending power, and extending sewer and pavement. And paving the streets where those utilities are being run. And so we can't just extend water and then not extend sewer and power and roads. So everybody needs all of it. So we have a substantial outlay of capital for each line extension that's completed, and to get support for that funding, it's every dollar counts, and the amount that the lenders or investors are willing to contribute to the project is all based on certain ratios. And so we, because of this, it's a burden for the builder that wants to buy these lots, and it's a burden for us, and it's a burden for our future plans to keep developing lots and building homes in the Plat of Allyn. And so we would like the port to take that into consideration among the commissioners and the director to review the policy and consider a policy change on the fees.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you very much. It's helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. H2O Management Services.
It would be the
Pardon?
marine floats, G.
Oh, did I miss that one?
The addition to the agenda.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
So, did you see the bid?
I did.
Okay.
I-
A little background on the bid. It came in considerably less than I thought it would have to be.
Yeah,
I thought we were
was
gonna be
surprised.
spending thousands and thousands more dollars just for that kind of work. And of course, we're in the process of acquiring our funding from Commerce to be able to pay for those things. I have asked Marine Floats to give us 2 more bids based on the idea of, instead of fixing the tubs on the old float that's out there, the one that's lower than the rest of the dock, to give us a bid on the full replacement of that fender.
Okay,
Because it was never done last time they replaced the floats. It's literally just decrepit and falling apart. And it's sitting 7 inches lower than the other dock. Jason with Marine Floats is going to give us a separate bid for that, in taking into account that some of this bid was to fix that same that would be replaced. They will also give us a bid for replacing the railings all the way down the dock,
Great.
because
Okay.
they are literally just wobbly. If a kid puts their hand on it, they're getting slivers. It's very, very rickety. And I just thought that if we came in this far under where we thought we were going to be, let's explore some other things that would at least make the dock considerably more presentable and safe for a longer stretch of time.
Indeed. We need that.
So,
What are you looking at right now?
Marine
the
floats?
marine floats here.
Okay.
Yeah, I was looking for mine too.
Is that dealing with our issue with all the damage from the sea lions?
No, so the best part about this bid is that this bid includes the power pedestal cage protections that we were getting separate bids on, which were $26,000. That the cheap guy who left town, I don't think would be willing to do it again at that price. But that's also installing fencing around the Santa Sailor so they can't hop up on the Santa Sailor and destroy that again as well. So, with this coming in so far under, we still have 3 bids from electrical contractors to replace the actual power pedestals. All right, we can take the low bid on that one, have them come in and do the power pedestals in conjunction with marine floats, just time it together, and then marine floats could come put those cages over the top.
Did you send out electrical bids already?
I've already got the bids.
You did?
I've got the bids,
Okay.
we haven't approved any of them or anything.
Okay.
Is this falling under the grant money that we have?
Yes, this would all fall under the grant money from the Pure Replacement
Okay,
Project.
and $500,000,
Yeah,
okay.
there's
And how
There's
much,
gonna be, at this point, waiting for those other 2 bids to come in, there would still be, there'd probably be about half left over.
probably about half of that,
Yeah.
just for that? Just
Yeah.
For what we're dealing with right here, out of the grant?
After we get those new bids in, it's quite possibly still at half of what
Okay.
we've got taken in for repairs.
We would have half that grant money left, just
Yes.
doing these repairs that we're just discussing
Yeah,
right now?
yeah,
Okay.
like the
I just wanted-
entire kit and caboodle.
Okay,
Okay.
But I don't have those numbers in yet, that's just a guess after seeing the bid that we got on this.
Yeah.
So-
all right.
That also includes resupporting the observation deck by not putting a pier, or not a pier, but
All right, what kind of timeline are we looking at, Travis, right now with this?
just waiting for them to give us those bids, and then we have to secure that funding. We're
Okay.
waiting from the tribes to get their comment.
To solve the bigger issue, which I think is part of that discussion, as far as no more damage from the sea lions, rather than just throwing money at it, right? So-
Right, yeah, this would actually prevent them from damaging our important assets.
I'd sure like to see that. Okay,
Yeah, great.
thank you.
Can move on to new business?
Okay. Action on office priorities?
Yes, that's the list of priorities I had in the executive director's report.
Okay.
I also put them, I copied and pasted for you in the flow notes.
Oh, okay.
Those are my suggested priorities. You notice that Sweetwater Creek technically is not on the list,
Doesn't need,
and there's a note at the bottom to why. But this is something that this list of priorities will end up on every
Agenda?
agenda
Yeah.
going forward after we've voted, you've voted on the priorities, or not voted, but just at least said, this is the list of priorities we want you to follow. And then that way, it's always on the agenda so that we're bringing up everything that comes up with those priority lists, each and every meeting, the regular meetings of the month.
Sounds good. How are we on the Oyster House? You said you are waiting on getting the,
So the Oyster House, I have the material to submit to the tribes, just haven't done it yet.
okay, all right.
Where the pier is, it's been submitted to the tribes, we're waiting back for comment, which technically they only have about a week and a half left before
Okay.
it lapses.
The engineering for the Oyster House, we are waiting on
So,
the information from the tribes before we can go
right,
forward.
that's to secure the funding.
Yes,
The engineering on the platform, I would suggest putting it out for bid,
Okay,
because technically Larry and Leanne only went out and got one bid.
Okay,
And so we only had the one company that was doing
Everything.
Art Anderson,
Yeah.
everything going forward, so we don't really have a scope on if that's really a good price. So I think put it through the MRSC rosters and literally send it out to 3 or 4 companies that are as local as possible, see if they're willing to, check it out. What if
Yeah.
we get a bid that's $32,000, not 57?
yeah, and I know that the scope of work too was, I don't know if that was
It-
really clear.
The scope of work that Art Anderson had was just the design
Okay,
and putting together all the paperwork for it. And then we
Okay.
had a separate company that was talking with Army Corps of Engineers to make sure it was okay. That was,
aspect,
no, it's not Aspect, but it's Sean. His name's Sean.
oh,
Yeah,
geoengineer.
Geoengineers,
Yeah.
correct.
Okay,
Which, they have a budget that that once they reach that budget, then they're not scoped to do any more
do
work
it,
for
yes,
us.
right.
And it's
Okay.
getting down there.
Well, I like it with the MRSC, I mean, that's just the way to go, but we do have to have a clear scope of work.
Yes.
I think that's
Yeah.
one thing I was concerned about, that be clear.
And
Okay,
what I've been doing with local contractors that I've been talking to about trying to do work is getting them to get on the MRSC roster so that we can start using the people that are local that haven't thought about getting on there, because it's free
Right.
for 9 entities. After that, you gotta pay for it, but if you're a local guy or gal that's doing work, it's not that hard to, just pick us and a few other places that are close. And then we can find contractors who do their own work, so that they're the ones doing the work and they own the company, then they don't have to bid for prevailing wage. Okay. So does that list of priorities seem fair to everybody, or would you
Does to
like
me.
to discuss some changes to that?
no, I think that's,
I agree with the list. I think Sweetwater needs to pretty much be put on hold for
yeah,
a while.
Yeah, and what I'm saying in the note there is that if Mindy calls me and says, hey, we want to do this, and they're like, well, I can't give you any time on that, but I can put it in the next meeting, and
yeah.
that way I'm not
she
doing any
brings-
office time, but I'm bringing the positions to the board.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're setting priorities here.
Okay, so we'd be B in new business.
Yep.
That would be the discussion of H2O management systems for satellite management for the Port of Allen. So Drew Noble, the owner there, it's him and 2 other people for their whole company.
Okay,
They take care of Oak Park over in Shelton. It's nearly a 300 connection system.
oh, good,
Okay. Drew is also not looking to charge us by the connection like Northwest Water does. So as we grow with Northwest Water, say we hook up 12 more connections with housing Kitsap that's coming up, we'll have to tell Northwest Water we've got 12 more connections, and then they charge us another $9.50 per connection onto our regular billing every month.
yep,
Drew doesn't do that. Drew charges a flat $350, where Northwest Water's flat is $250. Okay, so he's $100 more on the flat rate, but on the per connection charge, he charges nothing.
sounds great, and he's local,
And he's local, and he is there for us when we
Track
ask.
record, too.
He came and spent 3 hours with me, just going
Oh,
and
really?
checking out the entire water system, going over some things with me on the computer.
yeah,
With just for talking to us. It's a savings of about $3,500 a year by doing the switch.
And it should be better quality, right?
Yeah, it's more, when I have a problem with Northwest Water, I don't know who to call in their department. I have to figure out who is going to handle it. I will contact, say, person A, and they'll go, oh no, person B handles that. And then I contact person B, and then they go, oh no, I gotta kick it up to this person. Yes, and then they charge you for almost every single, conversation when it comes to engineering and such.
yeah,
So,
so you need a,
that would have to be a
Approval?
motion. It's beyond my spending authority to make that
Okay.
kind of decision.
I'll make a
But
motion that we.
I'm happy with it, to be honest.
I'll make a motion that we switch to H2O.
Use the, right there. Or no, yeah, that's the one, right here.
Yeah,
Suggested
Yes,
language.
sir. Okay. I, Commissioner Curtin, make a motion to approve changing Port of Allen Water System satellite management from Northwest Water to H2O Management Services. Do I hear a second?
Besides that one community, who else do they service?
They service Tuan Falls.
Say again?
okay.
Tuan Falls.
Okay,
That was the only two that I can think of that I remember. Said there were several other smaller systems that they serviced all over the area. Yeah.
How long is the contract for?
It's just 1 year.
Okay.
And we can cancel it at any time, just like the Northwest Water one.
Okay,
And I also, I'm not going to make the cancellation until I get the money out of Northwest Water.
Yeah.
We won't make the official switch until we've settled our billing
yeah,
with them.
okay,
And
excellent.
it's just a better overall system. Now, from what I've heard, Northwest Water was much better 15 years ago when they were a smaller company and they were doing a lot of smaller Group Bs. And they gotten so big, and like some companies do, they lose touch with the people they work for.
yeah, I want to be careful about that. But we're either going to move forward and make it, I'll second that motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
In fact, our engineer that we were working with moved on from Northwest Water
Yeah.
recently. Just as another example.
Okay.
The State Auditor's Office Annual Report.
Yes, I saw that, thank you.
Yep.
Well done.
Only thing would be is that you've been made aware of it and to ratify that it's been recorded.
Okay, it's ratified.
Okay.
Okay, next would be about the Kitsap Bank Visa account administrator.
Yeah, so in all of their, you need to get everybody switched properly. They never mentioned that we needed to do it for the Kitsap Bank Visa account administrator.
Yeah, I actually knew that was one thing we left out, but yeah,
So it's just a matter of the board
priorities.
deciding who they want to be that administrator, and then making a motion so that I can put it in the minutes, so that they can record that.
They called me.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep,
Okay.
because I know somebody that works there, so
All right.
they asked if I'd be on. I'm like,
And
yeah.
when it comes to the Kitsap Bank Visa cards, we don't use them. We use the U.S. Bank
Yeah.
credit cards. Why don't we just cancel the account?
Are you talking about the Port of Allen, the credit card, or the individual commissioner cards that they issue?
So there is individual commissioner credit cards with the Kitsap Bank,
Yeah,
but there's also individual corporate cards from U.S. Bank.
there is.
The U.S. Bank ones are the ones that you all have, that we constantly are paying the bills on, that, you guys don't use them.
No,
No, but I mean, sometimes I have to use them, sometimes Dawn has to
you're
use
right.
his.
It's a U.S.
All right, we don't use the Kitsap Bank ones. I don't even have one.
Okay.
Dawn doesn't have
Why do we have them?
one. Yeah, there's just two that are
So
open.
let's close them.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's
We can
never been
close
any, they have not had any use since I've
Okay.
started here.
Right,
So I think that they were just opened because Larry opened the accounts with Kitsap Bank and said, sure, we'll take credit cards.
All right.
so we can just close them.
We can close them, but we still have to make somebody an
The
administrator to
administrator.
close them.
Yeah.
So who would you like to be the administrator?
Well, you got contacted, huh? Bingo.
Tag
So-
on that, huh?
Commissioner Mike Curtin, I make a motion that you be the administrator on that.
And I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Uh,
Okay.
Sometimes
go.
that's what you gotta do. All right.
Okay, anything else? I guess that's it. Okay,
We could just go back to the priorities list.
yes.
Yeah,
And part of the priorities list is the idea that we can discuss those things that are priorities.
yeah.
The Astound
Oh, yes.
internet at the North Shore.
Yeah,
What?
that was there was a proposal in here, sorry, oh, here it
Yeah.
is, okay.
So it's a proposal for
Yeah.
service, to reinstate service at the North Shore to get the cameras operating again.
Yep,
Hey, you lost me. What's that got to do with priorities? Sorry.
It's just part of our regular port business, priorities, facilities,
security.
update.
Okay, that's fine. I misunderstood.
One thing that this does is that it can change the scope and how security is done at the port.
Right.
Less trips or not as many trips at all because we have it recorded that we can see.
Okay,
And it just changes the way that we are able to serve the community at the North Shore.
okay.
It was being charged at $215 a month when I took over the directorship.
All right.
We canceled it because it was literally useless, but
It
now
was.
that we actually can re-access the cameras and get them hooked back up, since Natalia has devised the solution for that,
Okay.
we've come up with a quote here of $111 a month in place of that $215 a month.
But it's a
Okay.
slower speed, correct?
It's a slower speed, but we never needed that speed anyway.
Okay, so
And-
the new speed
Yeah,
will be
the
functional.
new speed will be
and good
functional,
job.
yes. And then there's a $80 one-time connection charge.
Are you
for them
getting the
to come out
feed
and
right
stuff.
now?
We're getting a feed here in Allyn from our camera here.
Okay.
We're not getting a feed from over there
Okay.
because we have no internet.
What are we paying for this here?
Just our basic internet fees for the
Okay.
office, because
Okay,
it's
got it.
connected to everything here.
Okay.
It's just that over in the North Shore, the only way to get that to stream back here to the office for us to record it is this scenario.
Well, yeah, we need,
Well, I think it would be good,
Yeah,
because again,
we
there's
do.
trips, there's,
I know,
just
I
better
agree.
security, I would think.
Because what I can do is I can completely gauge, by going, okay, there's no changes there today. I can literally skip doing that patrol, then I don't charge the port for the patrol.
No, I get
And
it.
then you just get less and less hours on that going forward. Should be able to see that
We need a
savings.
motion for that?
Yes, please.
All right, make a motion that we go ahead with this down there on the North Shore port.
I'll
facility.
second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
so moved. And let me know about getting to the
Yeah.
camera.
Yep. Well, I believe we are on
Oh, yeah.
item 13, public comment.
Yes, okay, public comment. Go ahead.
Brent Carey again. So, economic growth and development. When I was a port commissioner, that's what we focused in on. If you want to be a park district, it should come under a different statute. I understand that the Port of Allyn has a park, Port of Allyn on North Shore. That's used a little bit, by economic companies like oyster farmers and what have you, and fishermen. I understand you've got the park over here. The Sweetwater Park, like my brother said, that's not connected to any wharfs, piers, rail facilities. The law is real clear on that. We had this problem in the Port of Tahuya, and the port had a little hand-carry boat launch, and they could not make that stretch as a wharf or boat launch area. It's a hand-carry boat launch. Anyway, the community ended up voting to shut down the Port of Tahuya, just because we're not geared towards economic growth and development. The Port of Allyn has a lot of different opportunity to probably gear themselves towards economic growth and development. Mr. Cederlund talked about what's pinching him on connection fees. I belong to two different water districts up at Maggie Lake and down in Shorebrook in Tahuya. I think our connection fees are about $1,500 to $2,000, I think, and that includes the meter, setup, everything. So I really would urge this board, if it wants to stay a viable municipal corporation, focus in on economic growth and development. I mean, I've asked years back, find a piece of land in this area that's zoned for, for an industrial park. Buy it and set up an industrial park, a small industrial park that would be catered towards the size of the district of the Port of Allyn. I mean, that to me is what's really needed. I've had people ask me, College Hunks, Bill Beasley, he bought that facility in Belfair, but I've had other people ask me, is there any commercial real estate, warehouse, office space that we can come into North Mason area and, have a facility? Some need small facilities, some need larger facilities. And I just don't see that happening in the discussions with the Port of Allyn Commission. And to me, that's where your energy should be put. Don't spend it on Sweetwater. Don't spend it on, I mean, you got your hands full fixing the docks out here and stuff like that. You guys were in life support when we were heavily involved on, 2 years back. I've watched you on life support. I stayed out of the ports, for a year and a half. While you're on life support, you're still on life support, in my opinion. And so you need to consolidate your energies, focus in on economic growth and development, and take care of what you have. And then once you get that done, Travis, I think you're doing a good job. I've watched you a little bit, and I like what you're doing. I like the way you communicate. I like your impartiality that you tend to treat people with, which is good. And I think that also, I would appreciate that from the commission as well. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you, Brad.
Jeff?
Jeff Carey, Belfair. Along the financial reports that we talked about, the reports need to be like running a business. I realize you report district, municipality, what have you, but you can't tell whether you're current on your water customers. You just can't tell easily, or at least the reports aren't coming through. And take notes of this so you go. Yeah.
I didn't know that anyone was asking for that.
But I'm saying you got to run this almost like a business, because it is. It's an enterprise to the port at this point. For example, like even on the water system that you bought from me, we allocated so much budget for legal fees, and believe me, I did the same thing personally on my side, but we're already at the limit for this year with this payment that's going through right now. So be aware that those are the blind spots I feel that in the past have caused this problem. The issue, switching subjects, the issue of development. Personally, I'm not happy with any of the numbers, but I also understand the problem that the port got itself into and how it handled its policies in the past. So I understand both sides of the equation, why numbers are somewhat higher or considerably higher, and why they're, for the causes of it. But we got to get out of this mode, and I'm sure we are because the former director's not here. But when you have like what's gone on with Kitsap Housing, and then another developer right beside him decided to tack on, they're designing things that you have no agreement with. That we had no reports at all coming in from engineering to the port. I'm not saying the design is wrong, but again, it's just like the booster station that from 2021. There's nobody managing or giving at least a scope of work so you or the board have a chance to at least, I'm not saying you'll know everything to know how to deal with the water system, but you know nothing. I mean, I didn't even know it was happening. I only got wind of it last year in August of 2023 when Debbie, myself, Larry, and Ryan Frank, the engineer from Northwest Water, were meeting about our system and what to do with the booster. And then when somebody went on the phone, or somebody stepped out, I know, 3 minutes, somebody stepped out and basically said, I need that price, what the price is going to be. But there was no discussion at all with this board. And one last thing I know is in that memorandum of understanding with Sweetwater Park, again, we got to get to this point where these things are talked about in the public meetings. There's no discussion on the preceding 2 meetings or the post 2 meetings to that memorandum of understanding that Larry Capola signed. That you cannot have your director, you cannot have your commission go off that way.
Yeah.
I realize it's 3 minutes, but these are serious issues of how to manage this port to keep it out of the hot water, to keep it financially viable.
Can you be at our work session?
Oh, I'll definitely be
Okay.
there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Ken? Oh, I'm sorry. Phil, go ahead. Thank you, Ken, for being kind.
Thanks for that. I say thanks again. Yeah,
And I think
the
the board can walk and chew gum at the same time. So, I mean, I know there's a lot on the table, but I mean, what's the cost of holding the Sweetwater Park property? I mean, other than the fact that there's a couple danger trees out there. I don't know if there's, but I mean, I don't, yeah, so I don't know what all of the time is required or what the capacity is of the port, but it doesn't seem like it's, requiring a lot of attention. So that's that. Yeah, and then back to Jeff's comment, I mean, I agree, so that, what's gonna end up happening is the industrial development's gonna happen, in Kitsap County. And then, that's where the big box stores are gonna go. And then that's where that's where our sales tax generation, is really gonna occur in Kitsap County. Unless, you know, unless we can get it together in North Mason. So, that is something to keep the eye on. And yeah, I mean, if we get a piece of it, somehow get a piece of industrial property, I mean, I think that would be a big win. And I know that's been on the port's list. The other thing about cameras, it sounds like you have the cameras covered, but there's also, and I don't think they're necessary for this application, but there's also cameras that are cell phone enabled. So it doesn't require Wi-Fi, it just requires a cell phone signal. I think they have plans for like, $40 a month for each camera. So that's just some information there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, Ken, thank you.
I'd like to follow up, Ken Van Buskirk, I'd like to follow up just a little bit on the Sweetwater business and the materials I gave you. Before you have the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement do the heavy lifting on this project, and I'm not sure what that is. I don't know that Travis knows what it is. But I suspect that one of the things that needs to be addressed is that it's still on the Department of Ecology's contaminated sites list. And mind you, the Hood Canal Salmon Enhancement Group used to have it on the contaminated sites list, and they walked away from it. They didn't finish it. So I don't know that you really want to have them doing the heavy lifting on the project. There's way more than a couple trees on that property. There's close to 50. Who's going to take care of that? Who's going to mitigate those hazard trees? It sounds like the Department of Natural Resources wants to have an agreement to be able to work on, which they should, a use agreement. But I think you should talk to your attorney like you should have when you approved the folks to put in for that item 4 of the RCO agreement. You really need to talk to the attorney, and I'd like you to look at the material I gave you tonight, and I have a bunch more that you'll see that there's been a lot of misrepresentation of what's going on there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Anything for the good of the order? Oh, Joe, sorry.
So I'd like to say one thing I really did like hearing tonight was the emphasis on cost cutting and even small dollars. And I think that's an important step in the right direction for governments to be taking. Our national government should be taking some notes from tonight. And we kind of need to get back to the days of Harry Truman. The buck stops here. And one of the problems we've had as government and as corporations and school districts and everything else is when the cost increases come, nobody says no. They just say okay, and they raise the price and pass it on to the next person in line. And it's a fundamental problem in America. It's taking our nation down. We're racking up $1 trillion in debt every 100 days as a nation. And so this is good to hear these steps that are being taken to cut costs. And that's what we're looking to do too, is cut costs. And and work with the port, to move that direction to get costs that are affordable for the end consumer, which are families in our community. And ultimately, every dollar that a house costs, the end cost is going to get passed on to the consumer. And those are, hardworking families in our communities, people that are trying to retire, people, single mothers. We have all different buyers that are buying these houses. And so there's a story behind every person. And so I think just, to mention that again, just to remind all of us here tonight that everybody's life matters. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's trying to get by. We have a lot of people that struggle to pay rent sometimes, and they're wondering how they're going to stay in their homes and pay their water bills, pay their utility bills. There's a lot of this going on right now. The cost of living are extremely high, and it's a problem for American families. People are suffering, and so it's a time to really consider how, can we as citizens of this country, of this community, with you all being in government, I know people get into government with the right intentions. They want to serve the community. They want to make a difference for the better. And so I think these things are what we as Americans all strive to do, but sometimes we get lost in the process. And so, I think that as we kind of remember tonight, going away from tonight, thinking about what are we really trying to do? What are the objectives of the work that we're doing, and what's the final impact on those that it's going to touch down the road? And how are we making lives of families in this community better? How are we getting people into affordable housing? How are we gaining these objectives that really matter, that are really impacting lives? And so I just want to thank you guys tonight for the emphasis on cost cutting and for taking our proposal to make a policy adjustment with the port and their water fee policy. I think it really does make a big difference for our company, for the families that are going to be buying these homes, for other people or partners that we're working with. So I thank you for your consideration again.
Thank you.
We'll be looking hard at that. Thank you, Mr. Allyn.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, folks. I think, motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Also.
all in favor? Aye, thank you, folks. I appreciate it.